All right, all right. We are live. Good morning, real closers. Good morning. We are back, Power Hour every Monday. We're here to help you understand that prospecting, it's one thing you have to do. And today we're going to talk about something we've talked about before, right, Gustavo?
Yeah, definitely. Topic we've touched on in the past, sometime last year, but we want to give people an update, right? The summer 2023 version of this, to give people, cheer people on, because, Roberto, I don't know if you know, in a lot of markets right now, not every market, but in a lot of markets right now, we have a low inventory situation again, right? I mean, we had a lot of inventory over the winter, maybe the early spring, but the last couple of months have been brutal. Just not many listings coming on the market. And buyers have kind of made peace with the interest rates, right, at 6-7%, and they're finding alternatives and way to work around that and work with that. So you've got the situation where, a lot of people are thinking, we're going to head into a recession, the market's going to crash. And in the meantime, you've got the majority of markets out there seeing bidding situations, multiple offer situations, a lot of pressure on prices, very low inventory. And I hear it from the agents. Like, oh my goodness, I don't want any more buyers. I can't even find anything for the buyers I've got, let alone bring on more buyers. That sounds a lot like late 2021, early 2022. It sounds a lot like that, which is kind of crazy, right? Because, interest rates are like almost double what they were, at the end of 2021. So what the heck is going on, right? So we're seeing these low inventory situations. So I'm creating a lot of content again, kind of rehashing some of these topics on what you should be doing to generate inventory. Don't just wait for the phone to ring, for that past client to reach out, right? That's a very passive attitude. That's a very, I hope and pray my past clients will, call me and take care of that. And if you've got plenty of business, just that's amazing. Power to you, you're set. If you don't have that business just rolling in, or if a lot of your past clients refinanced at 2%, there's millions of homeowners right now that refinance at 2.8, 3.1, 3.5. I've got a property at 3.5, in Seattle that as an investor, I can't refinance because I'd be refinancing it at, 6, 7, 8%, right? Because it's always, you're going to pay a premium for that property. So it's really challenging right now to move some of that inventory. I have empathy, I get it. But if you want an alternative, prospecting has got to be in your toolbox. If it's not in your toolbox, you're going to struggle. It's going to be a tough year. It's already been a tough year probably, right? Because of this low inventory situation. But if you are prospecting based or prospecting enhanced, well, then you've got other alternatives, right? You've had him here in the group, Roberto, Coach John D. Smith, having an amazing year, man. Killing it. Multiple listings every month. Listings every month. And one of the most competitive markets in America, Charlotte, North Carolina. What does he do? He picks up the phone. That's it. An hour a day, a couple hours a day. If he doesn't have any appointments, doesn't have any listing appointments, doesn't have any listings, doesn't have anywhere to go, he's on the phone all day, right? Just making his calls, and he only calls expired, withdrawn, canceled for so long. That's it, right? That's it. And when he got an ISA, jump in there, right? Probably got an ISA. They had them do other kinds of tasks. And that's what I want to jump into, okay? The ISA can really help out, but the ISA doesn't replace you, okay? That is a big point I want to make because sometimes people assume, hey, I'm gonna give Gus my credit card and then I don't have to pick up the phone again. I'll just get these appointments coming in, right? I have to just go attend and get the paperwork signed. That's not a realistic expectation. It's just not, right? So the more likely outcome, the outcome that you want, the outcome that you should be able to work with is that the ISA shakes the tree, okay? The ISA shakes the tree, and instead of giving you come list me appointments, which is what a lot of agents expect, right? Come list me, that's not what they generate. They generate qualified sellers that are willing to talk to you. That's what they can generate, right? And they can generate 1, 2, 3 of those a day, okay? We have one of our clients in Toronto generating 6 qualified sellers per day, right? Because the ISA, they're not focusing on setting the listing appointment. They're qualifying the lead. And they're saying, okay, you have a property, confirmed homeowner, confirmed contact information. Do you have a desire to sell? Do you have a motivation to sell? Okay. If you got a great offer, would you accept it? And it doesn't really matter if that's an expired, personal by owner, absentee owner, or just straight up circle prospecting. There's different levels of motivation on each one of those. I admit that. But the job of the ISA is to find who's motivated, who's thinking of selling, who would accept an offer if they had one, and getting them in front of you. Okay. That's their best use. That is their best use. Their highest and best use is doing that for you, generating as many of those qualified sellers as possible. So you can give them a call, the agent, have that conversation with them, educate them, show them what you bring to the table, and close for that appointment and get that listing agreement signed. Okay. That is the best use of an ISA, because they can make that call all day, every day. Okay. And what we're seeing work really well with that model, I call that the shaking the tree model. Shaking the tree. If you've got an ISA in place, shaking that tree, you're just getting to talk to more and more motivated sellers on a daily basis. What's working best right now to generate these leads with an ISA is calling a lot of these old expires, okay? Older expires. And this is a really good time to do that, Roberto, right now. Why? Because we had an inventory surge at the end of last year. Interest rates, right? Changed, the buyers pulled back, and there was a lot of momentum with sellers. Sellers wanted to get on the market. They wanted to grab the last few high prices they could see in their marketplace. Some markets, I'm talking about the Austins, Las Vegas, Phoenix, are 10% from the peak. They're off 10% price-wise from the peak. That's real money when you're talking to a seller. In some of these markets, that's $50,000. That's $100,000, right? Difference as a seller. So they're like, oh my God, they wanted to go on the market. They wanted to catch some of that last of that high decline, and they missed it, right? All right, they weren't able to sell. They withdrew the listing. They canceled the listing. They expired the listing. Give those people a call in a lot of these markets, because guess what? The last 60 days, we have seen price increases in the entire country, okay? Even in the Austins and in the Phoenixes and the Las Vegas, okay? Even in those super hot markets that we saw out west that really pulled back hard once interest rates went up, even they have rising prices right now. So I have a feeling we're going to continue to see these multiple offer situations, a lot of pressure on prices, despite interest rates in the 6 to 7% range. And that's good news for sellers, okay? If you're a seller, you have leverage. I would reach out and talk to as many sellers as possible right now and give them the good news, okay? You've got to be giving these sellers the good news, because otherwise, right, you're just sitting on your hands hoping they reach out to you. It's not going to happen. There's not enough of them, right? You got to do more than you were doing a year ago to get the same outcome. You got to do more than you were doing a year ago to get the same outcome, folks. You got to understand that. Old expired, great opportunity. Another one, absentee owners. And this is not just what I'm thinking is working out. This is what my clients are having great success with right now with their ISAs, making that call. An old expired is an easier call to make. Let me just say that. Old expired is a much easier call to make, because a brand new expired is just getting hammered. And after a few hours or a day or two, they just disconnect. They're not going to they're going to turn off the phone. It's really intense. 20, 30 calls an hour in some of these markets, right? They go nuts with this stuff. Once you've passed a week, 2 weeks, a month, 2 months, 6 months, it's a much different situation for a lot of these sellers, right? They might have been waiting on something. They might have gotten a perception of the market. They might have, just wanted to see what happens. There was a lot of uncertainty in the marketplace end of last year. We didn't know if it was going to be a pullback. We're going to go into full-on recession, market crash. Those questions were being asked 6, 7, 8 months ago, right? I think now we have some clarity. This real estate crash just has not materialized. It's not happening right now, right? Despite interest rates being way, way higher than they were a year and a half ago. Interest rate hikes really started to kick in a year ago. Remember that, folks, right? I was talking about it. We started to see inventory inch up in a lot of these markets. Interest rates were inching up in a lot of these markets. We hit 7% at the end of the summer last year, 7% interest rates, okay? So that happened less than a year ago. So you got to be reaching out to these folks, and you just got to ask the question. Are you still interested in selling? Would you like to know how much your home is worth now? Because guess what? Market's going up right now. Would you like to know how much it's worth, how much you would get for it right now? If we brought you a great offer, would you still sell? Would you sell? An absentee owner, same script. Very simple script to deliver, okay? You just got to clarify. You're not a wholesaler, because wholesalers call them and text them all the time. They're fishing for deals. They're fishing for desperate absentee owners, right? And most of them are just not in that situation. I'm not a wholesaler. I don't want cash for your property, like cash now as is condition. That's not who I am. I actually want you to get highest and best. Would you like to know where that's at right now? Great, talk to my agent. Boom, we're good to go, right? So absentee owner, old expireds, and then last but not least, good old-fashioned circle prospecting. Good old-fashioned circle prospecting, folks. And people like tell me, oh my goodness, that's cold, that's true. Cold calling, it's never gonna work. I just did a workshop in May, throughout May, 5 different weeks in May, because there were five Wednesdays in May. Who knew, right? There were 5 Wednesdays in the month of May. We did 5 sessions in our circle prospecting boot camp. Had 30 people on there any given session doing this, executing on this. And there were teams that for every ISA they had calling, they were generating 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 qualified sellers a day. Okay. So this is not theoretical. Oh, I hope this could work. I bet this could work. This is coming from our clients telling us that this is working for them in the market of today, working right now. Okay. This is what they're seeing. This is what's working for them. All right. So older expired, absentee owner, circle prospecting are great ways to go out there, prospect, and generate some sellers right now. And if you're not doing this on your own, or you're not hiring an ISA to help you with this, I don't know what you're waiting for, right? Maybe your database is going great. Maybe it is. But numbers don't lie, right? Activity, sales activity for the whole country is down between 20 to 30% for the whole country, okay? Which means in some markets, it's down 50%. That's what that means. That's how averages work, folks. In some markets, especially out in California, in your neck of the woods, Roberto, sales are down in some of these markets by half of what they were in the peak of 2022, okay? So understand that. It's harder to find deals right now. There's less deals to be had, okay? You got to get creative. You got to try different things. One of the things you should try is circle prospecting. Be prospecting based, do absentee owners, do those old expireds. And if you're not doing them, hire someone to help you do that, because it can be a big opportunity. And Roberto, I'm already getting a few ideas. This is one thing people should try to generate sellers. Next week, we can talk about another activity. This is the first one, right? Ways an ISA can help you generate these sellers. I just gave you 3 ways. Next week, we can talk about other things you do as an agent to generate more inventory, right? And one of those things is building up an off-market property list. We'll talk about that more next week, more in depth, building an off-market property list. But that's another activity, right? You can do yourself, or an ISA can help you build, because when you don't have enough inventory, the sellers are being really difficult, right? And you have a bunch of buyers. What do you want? Would you prefer to get that listing and double-end it when it's not going to come? Or would you just like to match up these sellers with your buyers and collect as much as you can as a commission, right? A lot of people take the latter. So that might be a great solution to find properties for your existing buyers, and you're going to be the hero in that situation. So next week, Roberto, let's put on the books. We'll talk about building that off-market property list, okay?
Awesome, awesome. And just like Gustavo said, right? You have to pick up the phone. You have to make the calls. If you already have a script that works for you and you're converting them, but you're only hitting the phones an hour a day, 2 hours a day, imagine having someone else doing it for you 8 hours a day straight, Monday through Friday, or if you want to hire them Monday through Sunday. I mean, we've had really great results, hitting up expireds. And again, like you mentioned, right, the purpose of the ISA is not to convert them to a listing appointment, right? The purpose of the ISA is just to get people to raise their hand. I mean, they're calling, maybe 200, 300, 400, 500, 1,000, expires. They're dialing 1,000 numbers a day. Are you going to be able to do that on your own? You can't. I mean, you're not going to be able to, right? If you want more results, it's a numbers game. You understand the concept. It's a numbers game. You have to make those dials. If you have someone else doing it for you, you're going to get 2, 3, for people to raise their hand, not listing appointments, people to raise their hand that say, yeah, sure, I'm interested in selling. Yeah, I want to know more or less, what I could get. Sure, can you get me a cash offer? It's a conversation starter. You need to have conversations every day before you start thinking about listing appointments. Don't worry about listing appointments if you don't even have leads in your database yet, right?
100%. And Roberto, one way I like to put it very simply, very simple terms. Whoever has the most real estate focused conversations on a daily basis is going to be fine regardless of the shift, regardless of the market, regardless of whatever, right? If you're finding ways to generate those real estate focused conversations with buyers and sellers every single day, you're going to be fine. The problem is most agents are not, right? They're not generating conversations with the database. They're not generating conversations off the internet. They're not generating conversations off prospecting. Okay. Those are the three major areas where you should be generating these conversations. If you're not, you've got to change your approach. Simplify and focus, right? What helps you start real estate focused conversations every single day and just lean into that?
And like you mentioned, that it has to be conversations, right? I mean, people are looking for a quick buck, right? A quick deal. You can't think of it that way. I mean, you may get some success, right? If you're qualifying your leads on the spot and you're like, this is a good lead. This is someone who's going to be able to close in the next 30, 60, 90 days. Sure. Everybody else, I'm just going to push them aside. It may work for you, but if you want business over time, having these conversations every single day is what's going to get you those results that you're looking for, right? You have to have them every single day. And that's what either you could do it yourself by picking up the phone and calling, right? Or again, leveraging systems, having systems in place, hiring people to build your business, like an ISA to help you prospect, make these calls. These are systems in place, nurture systems, follow-up systems. These are systems that are going to help you build your business. It's not a question whether it works or not. I mean, it works, right? It works. It's just that you have to trust the process. You have to work the systems, and you have to be ready to jump on, on the call and conversations with people so that it will eventually lead to deals, right? So
Absolutely,
again,
man.
Gustavo, thank you so much for stopping by again. I guess we'll see you next Monday, and then we will talk about what again?
We're going to talk about building your off-market property list to generate more transactions, generate inventory, generate deals, keep the machine moving. The machine is starved for listings. The market is starved for inventory. Find a way to get deals moving again. And we'll talk about that next week.
And if you guys have questions about that, guys, post them right now so that we know what we can cover next week. Any comments about anything? And if you guys need help with an ISA, Gustavo, let's drop that link and let's do it. All right, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody.
See ya.